Good morning, Spiritual Life Center. Welcome to the SLC Sunday Experience. We are glad that you're here. We want you to know that your soul is welcome here and you are in the right place at the right time.
That's right. You are in the right place. Let's sing about it. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. In the right place, I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. In my soul, oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome. My soul is welcome. Your soul is welcome. Our souls are welcome here, yeah. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. Oh, my soul. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul. Oh, 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 my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. 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 And my soul is welcome here. My soul welcome here. My soul is welcome here. And my soul is welcome here. Yeah, and my soul is welcome. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome. Oh, here.
Well, welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, Reverend Deborah. Good to see you here this morning.
Good morning, Reverend
On
James.
Super Bowl Sunday and pre-Valentine's Day. Somebody said this is our secular holiday, Super Bowl day.
And the banks are even closed.
Oh, yeah.
We greet you this morning in the name of all that is good, all that is sacred, and all that is loving. And in the warm and loving energy of this community Spiritual Life Center. The Spiritual Life Center honors all people, worshiping in temples, mosques, stone circles, and of course the beautiful, beautiful temples of nature, because we know that there is no space that God does not grace. And if you're with us for the very first time, online or on site, we especially want to welcome you because we know that you are not here by accident. All of us are here by divine appointment. And we're just excited to be able to be with you today, again, on site or online. And for those of you here in the sanctuary, we ask that you silence your electronic devices. Please wear your mask properly, and please refrain from flash photography during the service. Thank you.
Now that we created that clearing that goes directly to the presence, recognizing that there's never anything that's in the way other than our own minds. So we open our minds and hearts to invite in the Spirit of the living God, a presence that is always for us and never ever can be against us in any way, shape, or form. And as we make all the qualities, the presence, the activity of our awareness, our consciousness, then we begin to radiate within the depth of our being all of those qualities of peace and love and harmony and all that is good and perfect. So that all those who cross our path recognize that same quality within themselves, because it ignites a recognition within them. Knowing that as we are lifted up in our own unique ways, others in our atmosphere, in our thought environment, are lifted up as well. Because we are all interconnected on that spiritual level, that soul level, and whatever happens to one happens to all of us. So we're grateful to be the vessels and the vehicles of this presence as we go forth doing our best to anchor a little bit more of heaven in our life and in our world. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen. We have an important purpose here at Spiritual Life Center, as is represented by our mission statement. So I invite you to affirm it with me together. To transform lives as we love, serve, and remember. And we do so as we carry out to the best of our ability these 5 basic unity principles, which are universal, and anyone can incorporate them in their lives. And they are: God is absolute good and everywhere present. People are inherently good. Thoughts create our experiences. Prayer and meditation are how we connect with God. We must take action. Well, each week during the season for nonviolence, which takes place between January and April, we bring forth a principle that is shared by a member of our community. And, they represent the ideas of Mahatma Gandhi and Martin Luther King Jr. So today we're going to have Cameron Lawson, I believe, come forward to share. Oh, there he is. I'm looking back there, and you're over to my right there. I said, where is Cameron? He's right there with us. So Cameron's going to come by and share today's reading that reflects and affirms a principle of the season for nonviolence. So welcome, Cameron, who is our ace AV person, along with Ira in the back. You don't always see him, but he's right up front today.
Good morning. How are we doing?
We're great.
Been a little while since I've been up on this particular stage here, but it's good to see all of your faces. Well, yeah, it's part of it. Yeah. So today, I apologize to anyone I have hurt. Today, I allow Spirit to enter any relationship in need of healing. The lines of communication are open between us, and I am filled with love and forgiveness. I apologize for any hurt I may have caused anyone through my words and actions. I call on the forgiving power of God to heal any hurts from my past. Resentment is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer. I now release thoughts of resentment that are blocking me from receiving my good. I allow forgiveness to open the path to blessings in my life. God's will for me is joy, peace, and love. I release all concerns into God's healing light and affirm forgiveness. Thank you, God, for answered prayer. So last week, 2 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago. So Deborah approached me with, hey, would you like to do a season for nonviolence reading? And I said, sure. And she's like, well, okay, I have these here, or do you want me to just, give you one and let it? And I was like, okay, come on, let's do some divine order here. Let's just see what I get. And I got this one. And the way my mind reacted, I felt like really said something about that I probably needed to get this one. I went, oh, yeah, okay, I have to do this one. This is the one. It's really, I really could go kind of as deep as I want with this particular topic, because it really goes from a surface level way down to just, I haven't even delved that far in the writing out these notes here. But much of my life, I've become aware of, I guess I've been afraid of hurting people, like this is, describing here. It's just a subconscious thing, but I've, become more aware of it. And But, sometimes things just slip out. Like when I was a little kid, I think became a teenager. I started to become more aware of, being self-aware and maybe overthinking what I was saying and what I was. But, sometimes things just slip out. Things happen, and that's okay. We're all human, right? And sometimes when that happens, what I've had to learn is sometimes you're moving too fast, and you're just thinking your thoughts in here, and perhaps you're thinking more here as opposed to here or in any of your other centered. I didn't study chakras in school as much as I should have. So we'll come back to that. Yeah, as an elective. Yeah, I should have taken that one. But what I've learned is when that happens, sometimes you have to just stop in your tracks and take a breath and just be and allow yourself to realign and connect with that greater presence. And like James said in his talk, I think it was 2 weeks ago, he said, don't just sit there,
Yeah.
That's pretty, and only then can you truly be in that space and be there for somebody and support them. And sometimes when you need to say, I'm sorry. So here's where the personal anecdote comes in. For me personally, in this last year or so, and I guess I've experienced this with several people, but in this last year or so, I had a very close friend of mine. And we were already very close, and we got a lot closer. And went through a lot of very bright moments, a lot of happy moments, but also a lot of dark moments. And me being the person being afraid of hurting other people oftentimes felt like I was the victim in some of these scenarios in my life. It's kind of become a little bit of a trend sometimes, not really, but it's something I've become aware of. If you're passive all the time and don't necessarily stand in your own footing, I'm getting to that part. That's what happens when you go off the notes. But anyway, in this particular example, sometimes things just slip out, though. Sometimes things just happen. Maybe it's not even a slip out. You're not in control of everything in your life and what happens. And in that moment is when you just, again, take a breath and just be there, and it's okay. And the other thing I've become aware of is how today I apologize for anyone I've hurt does not just apply to other people, but to yourself. And this applies to each and every one of you in this room, to myself. And it's kind of funny. I was thinking about this, and I was thinking about going this direction. And I get here today, and the music is, we haven't heard it yet. You'll hear it. And it's one of the, so I was at the 9 service, so spoilers. Being gentle with myself, and James' talk later. And what I've learned is you're your own very best friend. And sometimes it goes 2 ways, and sometimes you have to forgive yourself. It's okay. And, you don't want to get into that kind of loop of being mad at yourself for being mad at yourself, for being mad, And because in this moment, each and every one of you are the very best you can be in this moment. Because that's all we have. We're right here in this very moment. The past, the future, we can feel it, we can think about it, but right here, right now, this is our life. So I think on that note, the takeaway from this is to breathe and to let it go. It's okay. And move forward in life and spread love and compassion and be your own very best friend. So that's pretty much it. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. I think we had the Utes today. We had Jesse earlier. They gave his, and then we had Cameron. So we're euthanizing our community.
And of course,
No, that's a good thing. Okay.
To
I had a weird sense of humor. Yeah. Okay.
To add to the hilarious, oh, wait a minute. You still have more stuff to talk
Well,
about.
you know, I mentioned that we have I went on a Cuba trip with some members of our community in 2019, I remember. It seemed like it was just yesterday, but we're going to do another one in June 19th to 26th. And we're going to support the Cuban People Adventure. And we've got some art and culture and music and history we're going to take a look at. Between services, a number of people that had gone to the last trip brought their artwork, including some that I brought to the prayer room, if you'd like to check that out. And you can just get a little bit more information about the trip. So we invite you to check it out and see if there's something that calls to your heart. It was a wonderful trip, connect with the people there, and we're going to be able to support them in some way in their own journey in life.
And we're already having a great time here. On the 18th, we're going to even have a greater time with notes and jokes. And to add to hilarity, we have Sally Sion to tell us all about it.
All right, Sally.
And hilarious. Okay. or, you know, heretical, or I'm something. Okay, so I want to ask you, okay, anybody here heard of Woodstock?
Yeah.
Okay, everybody almost, okay? Okay. Anybody that was present at Woodstock? Okay, but you would have liked to have been. But you would have liked to have been. Okay.
She wasn't even born then.
Yeah, she wasn't. She wasn't. Okay. Yeah, it was 53 years ago. Okay, but people are still talking about it. Okay, but they are ruining the fact that they weren't present. Okay. Okay. 53 years from now, people will be talking about the Notes and Jokes concert that happened right here at SLC. Okay. And are you going to be one of those ones that is ruining the fact that you were not in the room and heard it live? I don't know. Okay. You have to make that decision for yourself. Okay. So you can either I said tickets earlier, and then we had a complaint. You're not going to get a ticket. Your name's going to go on the list saying you got paid, and when you get here, then, we'll let you in, okay? But you won't have a ticket. I'm sorry. You're not going to get a ticket. You're going to get admission, okay? So, anyway, you can either do that out at the hub today, or you can get a ticket online. However, for those who sign up and register before midnight tonight, okay, you are going to be able to ask me for an autograph on one of the napkins that we use at the concert. Okay. Yay! And as James said, earlier, then you can sell it on eBay and it'll be worth thousands of dollars. Okay, so that's a separate issue about your investments. Okay, that's a separate issue. However, I want you to know that we're not only going to have some jokes and have fun, okay, but we have vocals, guitar, harp, saxophone, native flute, and harmonica. Okay, so the music is going to be fabulous because a lot of the people that are playing at this concert, their music ability is every bit as good as Ann and Paula that we get to have here. So they're in that same league, okay? And Laurie, she's going to be with us, okay? It's going to be really cool. Okay, so if you want to be here in person, you have to register and let us know because we won't have a seat for you unless you do it ahead of time. If you're going to watch online, I know you'll have a good time. I know that you will enjoy it. It'll be wonderful, and if you feel safer that way or it just works out better for you, that's a wonderful thing too. And if you register before the event, then we're going to send you a reminder and the direct link so that you'll be able to get in promptly at 7 p.m. because we don't want you to miss a minute of this, okay? Kuan Yin is on our altar today, and she is offering you a gift, okay? I believe that this concert is a gift that you can give yourself because we're going to have some really touching moments at the concert too. So if you would like, join us Friday night, okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Sally. She wasn't telling about those napkin sign. Like I said, she said eBay. I said, make it an EFT or NFT, I think they call it now. I'm still trying to learn all this stuff. Anyway, just to remind you that on March the 9th, Reverend Linda Martella Winsett is going to start a 4-week Zoom class called Empowering Prayer, and an affirmative prayer enrichment training. And it's based upon her 2 books, How to Pray Without Talking to God, and also her other book, Divine Audacity. She's the vice president of Silent Unity. If you ever called there for prayer, they're the ones who have been doing prayer for over 100 years, constantly, for 24 hours a day. And so she's been one that helps train those individuals who are in that prayer room. And this class will give us a deeper understanding of affirmative prayer and give you confidence in praying with other people and an opportunity to arise and, most importantly, deepen your own prayer life. I know Reverend Linda personally, and so she's an open person, a real person, a heartwarming person, and a true master teacher of her art of prayer. So you can join her starting March the 9th, and it'll go to the 16th, the 23rd, and the 30th of next month. So you can register on our website.
Today.
Today,
Absolutely.
yes.
Just go spend the next hour registering for everything.
Don't want to miss.
So every month, one of our members of the board of trustees comes to us with an update to tell us what exciting things they have on tap. And today we have Claudia Norton. Welcome, Claudia.
Sally, I love the humor you bring. I'm really looking forward to that concert that's going to happen. And I'm so grateful to have a husband that's so humorous. The entire board wants to thank everyone who participated in the meeting last week, those who left comments in the chat comments, and anyone who has communicated with the staff and board since. Your input is valuable to us, and your support and love is the reason SLC exists. We have asked staff to ease your ability to contact the board at any time by using a simple link on our website under Connect. Please continue to give us feedback, and this has just been added this morning, that button. And you have requested more information, so we are going to increase news about board actions and in the weekly newsletter, particularly those following board meetings. And I also wanted to let you know that we have organized a wellness calling program where we call congregants that opt in to get a once or twice a year call. And this is an opt-in only, not opt-out feature. And we are creating a separate item on the Connect page again, and which is at the top of the website, and it's in a drop-down menu, and it has just been added moments ago. And these calls are separate from the monthly chaplain calls that you get each month. And I want to give you an idea of some of the things that we do at every board meeting. So first, we review our organization's financials. We look at the last month's spending and income and how it compares to our annual projections and budget, and if some immediate action is necessary. 2, we review the calendar of activities, dates, and impact on finances of those activities, and consider new ideas and proposals and programs, and whether our activities support our overall mission and goals to transform lives. 3, we look at, discuss, and make decisions about COVID and its impact on our SLC community. Since you know COVID pandemic has had a changing impact on the world constantly, it requires us to revisit this discussion and consider new guidelines, look at most current research, and make new decisions again and again with the safety and security of you, our congregants, in mind. And the county has, I've read that they're going to be opening up the masks for vaccinated people, but our church has decided to leave things as is. We still want to be masked until the board meets again. And then to enhance the board's ability to make conscious, productive decisions for SLC, the board as a group has been engaged in a quantum living process class together. And we can be more cohesive and effective body. And remember, you can always reach out to us by email or on the Connect button, or talk to us here in the church. And I want to thank you for being part of the SLC family.
Thank you, Claudia.
And there's so many things going on here at SLC. If we stood up here and talked about all of them, we'd never get to James's wonderful talk. And so if you want to know the other things that are going on at SLC, of course you can go to our website. Here on site, you can go and look at the bulletin board, go over and talk to our lovely ladies at the hub, and they can tell you every single thing you ever wanted to know about SLC.
Well, at this time, I'll invite any chaplains that are present on duty and our board members who are present to please stand. And the chaplain, and we have at least one on duty, is wearing the white stole and is available to pray with you immediately after the service in the courtyard. And the chaplain, as well as all of the chaplains and those part of our community, hold the high watch for us, and we appreciate the spiritual consciousness and the prayer consciousness that they bring to our community. And we have 4 of our board members here this morning. I think we had 4 at the earlier service, and I was sharing they've been so important to help us navigate through these very interesting times. And they've brought a great deal of their time and their talent and their consciousness and skill to keep us moving forward, and despite or regardless of what is going on around us, so that we can still be here, grow, unfold, and help people fulfill their potential as spiritual beings. So just let's acknowledge the board for their work and all that they do for our community, including Claudia, who is just up here. Thank you.
We love to welcome our newcomers, and in a moment we would ask you to raise your hand. But first we want you to know there are many ways to become connected at SLC. And if you go to the website and click on Connect, you can find a welcome card and fill that out and submit it. If you're here in person, and you raise your hand, we will give you that card, fill it out, take it out to the welcome table for a very warm welcome and a very special gift.
So I invite anyone who's here for the very first time, any first timers, if you could raise your hand. Oh yes, we have someone to my left, the folks in the back right. We thank you for your presence here this morning, and we salute you, appreciate you, and affirm you on your path as you grow, develop, and unfold in a way that's unique for you. And you can see that there's a ribbon if you'd like to wear that to get that special Spiritual Life Center attention, and a card that you can fill out, as Reverend Deborah mentioned, if you want to be apprised of all the activities going on in our community. And with that, I just invite those who are here simply to turn to a friend or a neighbor in a way that feels comfortable to you. Greet them. Say, you're marvelous. Glad you are here today.
What do you notice? Who do you see? God's own expression manifesting, perfect and holy. I am pure and perfect. I am wonderful. I am love, love, love in the mind of God. I am free and endless. I am beautiful. I am love, love, love in the mind of God. Keep that clapping going. Come on. Look into the mirror. What do you notice? Who do you see? God's pure potential manifesting, holy and fully. I am pure and perfect. I
Play it in the mind of God. Mind of God. In the mind of God.
Yes. Oh, that was some good energy right there. Now we're going to just settle in, prepare for our meditation, and we're going to speak together our vision statement. Spiritual Life Center is a loving, vibrant family that welcomes home all people and accepts everyone, no exceptions, weaving ancient spiritual traditions with emerging wisdom. We cultivate a spiritual deepening with the divine, each other, and our planet. And now we're going to sing our mission statement today. Why have we come to earth? Do you remember?
Come to earth. Do you remember? Why have we taken birth? Why have we come to love, serve, and remember? To love, serve, and remember. Why have we come to earth? Do you remember? Why have we taken birth? Why have we come to love, serve, and remember? To love, serve, and remember. To love, serve, and remember. To love, serve, and remember. Oh, and why have we come to earth? Do you remember?
Do you remember? Do you? As we move into this time of inner observation, take a deep breath. Let it go. Drop your shoulders and release tension. And for the next couple of breaths, simply watch your body breathe. Notice how you relax with each exhalation. And bring your thoughts into the center of your chest. Bring your focus to your spiritual heart center as you breathe. And allow yourself to drift into a light daydream. In this daydream, you find yourself on a beautiful, clean, clear beach. The sun glints off of a nearby boat, perched partly in the beach, partly in the water. It seems like the perfect time to take some time for yourself. And you easily push the boat into the water and climb in. The boat lightly rocks for a moment, and then waves take hold and begin to smoothly roll you along. The motion of the boat is gentle and soothing, and you relax. You turn your face to the sun. You breathe in the salty air. And listen to the sound of the water shushing against the boat as it glides through the water. Tension dissolves. Tranquility settles over you. Float in tranquility. Though the waves are gentle, the boat begins to gather speed. And soon a warm, light wind dances across your face and through your hair. You turn your face directly into the breeze, and as if laughing, it ruffles through your clothes. The air, easy and free, streams around you, gently cleansing your thoughts, your feelings, soothing and calming you. And float in soothing calm. And now up ahead you see an island, lush and green, gleaming like an emerald in the middle of the ocean. And as quickly as you have the thought, the boat turns and soon skims up onto the shore. And you climb out and set your bare feet on the sand and walk up onto the grassy knoll. Except for the call of some seabirds and the ocean in the distance, there is no sound. And so you sit down on the grass and put your hands down on either side of you, and then lie back and make full contact with the ground. You close your imaginary eyes and feel the power of your Mother Earth as she gently pulses and hums through you. Mother Earth energy is very powerful. You feel grounded, solid, restored as you float in the silence. Taking a breath, you open your imaginary eyes and you see that the sun has set and the sky is bright with stars. They twinkle and shine, and they feel so close that you can reach out and touch them. A full moon rises, throwing light across the water. Slowly, like a mystical spotlight, the moonbeam extends up the knoll to you and encircles you with its light. The light from the stars and the light from the moon reach into you and fill your cells with unimaginable contentment, ease, and comfort. Any dis-ease, any discord completely dissolves, and you feel healthy, happy, and free. And you float in freedom. And now with gratitude, take a breath, and as you begin to return, receive this blessing. Oh, my beloved, you are a child of the earth, and you are loved and nurtured by her elements: the water, the air, the ground, the fire. These are your allies. They cleanse you, calm you, ground you, and heal you. When you take time away to reconnect and to take care of yourself, your natural gifts naturally rise, and you become a gift to the world. Remember this, always.
I will be gentle with myself. I will be gentle with myself. And I will hold myself like a newborn baby child. I will be gentle with myself. I will be gentle with myself. And I will hold myself like a newborn baby child. I will be tender with my heart. I will be tender with my heart. And I will hold my heart like a newborn baby child. I will be tender with my heart. I will be tender with my heart. And I will hold my heart like a newborn baby child. And I will only go as fast as the slowest part of me feels safe to go. And I will and I hold myself like a newborn baby child, and I rock myself like a newborn baby child. I hold myself like a newborn baby child, and I will love myself like a newborn baby child.
Thank you, Laurie, for that wonderful rendition of Karen Drucker's song. And it's a great reminder that we indeed need to be gentle with ourselves, to be easy with ourselves and loving with ourselves like that newborn baby child as she was singing. There are a lot of songs that are out all the time, and I think if you were to tally up what are the themes of each of these songs, that probably love would be the one that would be number one. And I thought of a chant that sometimes we sing here that's in that same vein that says, I love myself so much. It goes something like this. I love myself so much that I could love you so much, that you could love you so much, that you could start loving me. Kind of sums up the talk for the day. Sometimes we're really hard on ourselves. And it's important to remember and to realize the potency of self-love. You know, there's a song that the great late Whitney Houston sang that I think was written by Dolly Parton. And it says, learning to love yourself is the greatest love of all. Of course, it's appropriate as we're working with the theme this month, Love, a Radical Choice. And it's particularly germane since tomorrow is Valentine's Day and, you know, people exchanging cards, phone calls, you know, to affirm love on some level or another. I thought that one of the wonderful definitions of love that I remember is that love is supporting our own or another person's spiritual growth. And that may come in a lot of different ways. You know, we're familiar with the statement that says that, you know, charity begins at home. And similarly, love must begin at home as well, because we have to love ourselves. It starts with ourselves, because each of us represent the light. We represent the light of every man and woman that comes into this world. Or to update that or say it in another way, I would say that you and I are always the apple in the eye of God, an apple in the eye of the universe whose time has come to twinkle. And twinkle we must. Twinkle we must. Because there's something about us that is always the emanation of this presence. There's always an expression of this power and the love of God that God is. And we're here to let our light so shine before men and women that people see our good works. They see the essence of who we are. So today I'm talking about it's okay to look out for number one. It's okay to value yourself. It's okay to practice self-care and to look out for self or number one. It's another way of saying be gentle with ourselves. It's another way of saying to love ourselves, and we love ourselves so much so we can express that to others. You know, in the Gospel of Matthew, the 19th chapter, or the 22nd chapter, and the 39th verse, it says that thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. And I think the implication of that statement is that you must first love yourself. Because we can never go beyond our own self-love. We can never radiate more than who and what we really are. Understand that each of us are special. There's no one person in the world like you or like me. And as a result, you deserve to be loved not only by those that are around you so many times, but the most important person in your life has to love you, and that's you. So I'm looking out for number one, or practicing self-love is sometimes challenging to do, particularly during, upheaval times when things seem to be happening around us that seem to be beyond our control. But self-love, or looking out for number one, is not about being self-absorbed. It's not about being narcissistic. It's really about getting in touch with ourselves, our well-being, and our own happiness. We practice self-love so we can push through our own limiting beliefs and live a life that truly shines. So today, we're going to give ourselves, or, lend ourselves a favor. Take a deep breath. You can even hug yourself a little bit and practicing looking out for number one. Just like you go on an airplane, and the airline attendant says that in case of sudden loss of cabin pressure, the oxygen mask will fall from the ceiling. And they tell you to put your oxygen mask on first before helping anybody else. And that's the spirit that we're talking about, looking out for number one. So today I'm going to look at 5 ways to look out for number one. As I mentioned in the earlier service, I had a list of 30, but I don't think that was going to go over too well. So I whittled it down to 5. So you're welcome. So number one, start each day by telling yourself something really positive about you or life. Like, how well you handled a situation maybe the day before. How lovely you look today. Anything that will make a smile or bring a smile to your face. I remember years ago when I first got into this work, I was reading a book by Louise Hay. She wrote a very well-known book called You Can Heal Your Life. And one of the exercises that she had in her book was that in the mirror, you look in the mirror and you look yourself in the eye and you say to yourself, I love you. And I did that, and I had a lot of self-guilt and not a lot of self-love for myself. And it felt a little uncomfortable for me to say that to myself. And somebody said that, if you come to your mirror and you don't see your lipstick prints all on the mirror, you need to work a little bit more on yourself. So you look in the mirror and say, oh, I love you. God sent you. You are so awesome. Today is going to be a great day because you are in it. We have to be our best cheerleaders if we want to live the highest and best that we can. Sometimes when we're on this spiritual path, we're working so hard on ourselves, and we keep our attention, instead of what's working, we give our attention to what's wrong with us. Maybe we look at all the mistakes that we have made, rather than what's right about us, what's true about us, what's real about us, what's authentic about us. And when we think about focusing on what's wrong about us, we end up perpetuating those same things over and over again. So we want to practice self-care. We want to practice self-love. We want to practice looking out for number one first, remembering that you and all of us are unique, unrepeatable expressions of the divine. We have a unique fingerprint. As I like to say, we got some diviner genes in us, and we need to affirm that. Because God did not make junk. God does not make any mistakes. God did not create anything accidentally. You and I are the best that God has to offer as far as this presence is concerned. So sometimes we just get up in the morning, we look in the mirror and just say, God, show me who I am, regardless of how magnificent it is, regardless of how beautiful it is, regardless of how wonderful it is. Show me who I am and what I'm intended to be. So we look out for number one by starting each day telling something positive to ourselves. And then number two, we stop comparisons. Often we're conditioned, sometimes we're socialized to be competitive, to compare ourselves to others. And oftentimes, it feels natural. And it's okay to be competitive at times, but it also has a downside. And there's no point in comparing ourselves to anyone else on the planet because there's only one you and me. And the only person we should ever compare ourselves to is you and me. I remember reading about a tech millionaire. And he had everything, at least it seemed that way. But he didn't feel good enough because he was ended up comparing himself to the billionaires around him. Similarly, I was reading about a study about some very successful business school graduates. They graduated from a prestigious business school together. And they went back to their 15th reunion. And by all objective measurements and standards, they had made it. They were the financial elite, the top 1%, many of them. They lacked nothing. And they reached a level of achievement that few people ever reach in life. But a number of them were not happy. Many were just satisfied because they compared themselves to others. They talked about promotions they did not get that went to other people. One graduate had even lamented that, despite earning over $1 million, which is no small sum, he didn't measure up. He didn't measure up to his peers, and he just didn't feel good enough. And that's what can happen when we begin to compare ourselves to others. Because we can always, no matter how much we've risen in any particular area, we can always find someone who seemingly is doing more, expressing more, having more, being better in the world. And somehow we may start thinking there's something wrong with me, that I'm flawed. But I think it was Ernest Hemingway who said that there is nothing noble in being superior to another fellow person. True nobility is being superior to your former self. So the only comparison that we want to have is to look at our former selves. So he asks, am I better today than I was yesterday? Am I further on today than I was yesterday? And if so, that's a good thing. We pat ourselves on our back. We acknowledge that. And if not, no big deal. We're perfect where we are, and we know that we can begin again. We can continue to evolve because we are absolutely accepted. We're embraced by this presence that we call God. God can't help but love us. And there's no throwback in the bunch. There's no God like that. Most of us are familiar with Maya Angelou, who passed away a few years ago. I had the opportunity to be with her once. She came and invited me and my wife to dinner. She was quite an interesting person, but that's another story. But I remember reading about the time that she was much younger, and when she was very young, she was assaulted, and it left her almost paralyzed, where she couldn't even speak aloud to other people. And she was going to her music instructor, a mentor, and he asked her to read this passage in the book, Lessons in Truth, over and over again that said, God loves me. And she would say it kind of half-heartedly, and he said, read it again. And she said, God loves me. And he said, read it again, God loves me, till she got into it. And something clicked within her at that moment. Tears began to come down her eyes, and she began to open up to new possibilities in her life. So we want to make sure that we affirm ourselves. And so number two, looking out for number one, we don't want to compare ourselves to other people. If we don't do that, we'll begin to shift the conversation. We'll shift the energy. It'll help us feel and practice more self-love. And then there's number three, to looking out for number one and to practicing self-love, and that is to end all toxic relationships. Because not everybody takes responsibility for the energy that they put out into the world. If there's someone who is bringing toxicity into your life and they don't take responsibility for it, that might mean you might need to step away from them for a moment. There was a young man I talked to a while back, and I remember he was telling me he had a really good job, and he had been there for a number of years, but he endured the daily stress of working with people he could not stand being around. And he said he ended up, over time and had severe back pains and had a crick in his neck and pains in his foot and all that kind of stuff. He didn't know why. until he finally moved to another department and removed himself from that company, and he felt a lot better then. Now, I always said a little earlier that, he probably could have come to Spiritual Life Center, maybe took the quantum process, created a whole new story around what was going on. But at that moment, that was the best thing for him to do. For those who are familiar with 12-step programs, if you want to be whole, you want to heal from any addictions that you have, they tell you got to stay away from people, places, and things, mostly people, that fuel that addictive behavior and hinder for you from having that healthy, wholesome life. Sometimes they'll just be members of the family. I know one person was relating to me that, no one but her family could make her go from complete calm to instant rage, just a look or from an offhand comment. And she said that, well, Christmas was like, particularly insane. And she said that all year the family, avoided one another. And then they got together on Christmas and supposedly have a get-together for 3 or 4 hours for fake politeness, tense politeness, you would say. And then after about 20 minutes, they were hissing and spitting at each other like a nest of vipers. And then they would reel away and, be gone again for another 12 months and to avoid, connecting with each other. Once again, maybe they should have had a family intervention and everybody come to Spiritual Life Center, take the quantum process, to have a whole different story about each other. But at that moment, that's where they were. And she said that, 3 years went by and she used to tell her family every year, I'm working on Christmas. And she'd much rather spend time with people she wanted to be with instead of seething with resentment. Again, she probably taking the quantum process, and that'll be a different story, but that's a whole different thing. In the meantime, you can still love those individuals from afar. You don't have to be around them. You don't have to necessarily take them out to dinner. You can still send them loving energy, but you don't have to be in their presence. We don't need to be afraid to do this because it may be challenging. Sometimes it may even be painful. It may feel that way in the short term. It's important to protect your energy, to protect yourself. And it's not rude or wrong to sometimes remove ourselves from situations or from company of people who are draining us. Anyone around that somehow radiates a vibe that makes you feel less than amazing doesn't deserve to be part of your life anyway. So point number 3, to looking out for number 1, end those kind of relationships, or at least create some distance until you take some courses to transform your whole perspective on how you see another individual. Because behind all that, there is a divine presence within them that maybe just hard to see. But then number 4, looking out for number 1, and to practice more self-love and self-care. Take time to calm your mind every day. Somebody said that sometimes our enemy is within our own household. Sometimes the most difficult challenge is not anything outside of us, but what's going on inside our mind from time to time. So sometimes we just have to breathe in and breathe out and clear our mind of the thoughts and just be. And ask sometimes yourself, when's the last time I did absolutely nothing for 10 whole minutes? No texting, no emails, not talking, not even thinking consciously. It can be transformative just to do that. We're refreshing our mind for that 10 minutes a day, simply being. And that experience in that present moment. And we don't have to do anything special. We have to light any incense or candles or do any incantations or dances or anything that or get in any uncomfortable positions. We can just be for a little while. And sometimes when we just be, the world lets us be. We're in peace. We mentioned, the Season for Nonviolence, Martin Luther King. And he was asked one time in an interview, he's been working 80, 90-hour weeks and traveling all over the country, fulfilling his purpose. And it probably was extremely exhausting. And he was getting, some progress done. And someone asked him, well, if you could do anything different, what would you do? And he took a moment and said, I would meditate more often. So sometimes we need to take time to calm our own minds. Do that on a regular basis. I think our soul will thank us because we're looking out for ourselves, and then we can be better at whatever we're doing. And then number 5, looking out for number 1 and practicing that self-love. Sometimes we have to learn to say no. I'd mentioned it earlier that, watching some of the Winter Olympics, I don't know all about the events and the Olympics, but I was actually watching some of the curling event. It looked like they got a broom and they're pushing this, disc down the ice and everything. I was just fascinated, but I don't know why I was transfixed by it. I started looking up and said, what's the strategy behind this? I'm trying to understand this thing. So, because I always like looking at people who are great at what they do, no matter what it is. But it reminded me of Simone Biles, who's probably the most decorated Olympic gymnast in history. And she was in the Olympics in the summer in Tokyo. And she stunned the world when she withdrew from the competition. And she did so because she began to lose track of herself when she was attempting her vaults in the air. And she had a condition or a situation called twisties. And, she disappeared from the floor of her events, and she left with her team staff, and she returned to the team and told her teammates, I'm done competing. I'm done competing in most of the events for the rest of the Olympics. And some of the people chided her, criticized her for abandoning her team and giving up. But those who criticized her had no idea of the danger that she had been putting herself in because of this thing called twisties. She did it for the health of her well-being. And despite the pressure that she felt from others to continue, she demonstrated what it means to practice self-care, which is a cornerstone of self-love. It's looking out for number 1. Because if you don't look out for you, nobody else will. I think when we treat ourselves with a compassionate hand, when we accept on a profound level, not only do we deserve the best, but we're willing to take the best that the universe, to God, the force, has to offer us. So a great way to practice self-love is through self-care. And I think Simone, in that case, practiced self-care rather than forging forward, pushing herself forward, and prioritizing other people's goals and objectives and expectations. She said no. And she stopped doing what she was doing at that moment for herself. And as a result, she's surviving, thriving to carry on for another day to her next stages in life. But number 5 is to look out for number 1, but sometimes knowing it's okay to say no. Sometimes we don't want to do that. We think when people react in a certain way, but I began to realize that most of the time, you say no, they're going to go to somebody else and ask them. As to close out, I said I had 5. Actually, I had 30, but I'm not going to do the 30. But I want to leave you with a bonus. How to love yourself and look out for number 1. And that's not to give up on your dreams and visions that you have for your life, no matter what stage you may be in. Don't limit yourself by doing something that's seemingly possible or limiting yourself to what you think you can have. I always say that if you have a dream or a vision of only what is possible, then it's not God's idea for your life. Like I said, God loves us too much to leave us alone. It should be something that is so beyond what we think we can do that it'll only happen if we allow this presence to assist us along the way. So we don't want to limit ourselves by thinking our vision is somehow limited to what's possible by our surface mind, by our limited mindset. On some level, I think we all want to change the world. I know I do. They used to call that delusions of grandeur. But I say it's just God speaking through us, the force speaking through and as us, so us to do what we're here to do, whatever that may be, large or small, because there's no large or small in the mind of God. And regardless of how it manifests, or even if it manifests at all, it may not manifest the way that we want it to. Just by going for it changes the world. I think the true heroes and individuals are those who don't give up on their dream. Those individuals who go for it, Even if they fail over and over and over again, it does not come into manifestation. There's something wonderful taking place anyway. There's a transformation taking place in character. There's a transformation taking place in consciousness because somebody is going for it, because you're going for it. You are changing the thought atmosphere of the planet on which we live because you're not only affecting yourself, but you're also affecting others, future generations, because you're going for it. You may be affecting people even across the planet, don't even know it, because we're all energy, and energy travels instantaneously. So we go for it. Like I said, those who are the real heroes and heroines are those who do not give up. So when you look out for number one, you're protecting your power, your innate power that is within each and every one of us. And even if you don't feel particularly powerful about that at any given moment, understand you can look at how far you have come, how you've survived whatever challenges you've had along the way, that you're powerful beyond measure, and you're here right now alive and powerful beyond your own knowledge. So be patient with yourself. Engage in self-care, self-love. You know, it may not happen overnight, but with time, you'll settle into it. Your heart will feel it. In life, we'll have struggles from time to time, but we'll look back on those moments and see how those things were not tombstones, but stepping stones to greater good in our journey of life, our journey to become the best that we're here to be. But it all begins by how well we take care of ourselves. So choose you, care for you, love you. Then you can choose and love and care for others to the same degree or even more than you do for yourself. So happy Valentine's Day. Choose you. Look out for number one. Peace and blessings to you. Well, next Sunday, Reverend Deborah will be back, continuing on our theme of love, a radical choice, and her topic is Love Is. At this time, I invite those who are online that would like to support this work, and you can do so by giving, and you can give by texting SLC Love to 44321. That's, put the words SLC Love as you text it to the number 44321, and then it'll pop up all the ways that you can give to Spiritual Life Center. Or you can go to our website, slcworld.org, click the Donate tab, and it'll give you instructions on how to give by mail, including you can mail a check if that's your preference as well. And I invite those who are present here this morning to take your gift or your love offering and symbolically raise it to the heavens. And if you've already given by electronically or given by mail, know that you are in that flow of this great principle that says what you give comes back to you in many different ways. And you can never outgive the presence and the power of the God presence that is within and around us. And with that, let us now affirm our offertory blessing together. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. Thank you, God.
Let it be easy. I'm gonna let it be easy. I'm gonna make the choice every day to trust my voice and let it be easy. I used to run around, beat myself to the ground. I thought this was the way to be. I thought that true success was having so much stress, till I heard a voice calling to me, saying, let it be easy. Let it be easy. I'm gonna make the choice of my voice. Let it be easy. Now that I see the light, I won't work all day or night. I vow to take good care of me. I don't need to run around. I'm choosing ease and grace, enjoying the ride effortlessly. I'm gonna let it be easy. Every day now, easy. I'm gonna make a choice to trust my voice. Let it be easy. Gonna let it be easy. Gonna let it be easy. I'm gonna make a choice to trust my voice. Let it be easy. Easy. Well, I get the job done. Easy when I'm having fun. Easy every day. Easy, it's the only way. It's the only way. Easy, I'm gonna let it be easy. I'm gonna trust my voice and trust my voice. Let it be easy. I'm gonna make a choice and trust my voice. Gonna let it be easy. I'm gonna make a choice to trust my voice. Gonna let it be easy.
You not only let it be easy, you make it look easy. And I know it's not easy.
It's not.
Thank you so much, Lorene.
Thank you.
And, let's take a moment and, first of all, bless the gifts and the offerings that have been given today. For those that are here, for those who have given online. For we are here to support making a difference in people's lives, to transform their lives so they may express the highest and best that is within us. And we have an opportunity to do our part to help be the catalyst for that to happen within another individual. We also bless those who have left their prayers in the prayer box, knowing that all of us have challenges and bumps along the way in our life. And we recognize that there is always a divine solution, that all of our challenges may be mental, emotional, physical, monetary, it doesn't really matter. But we remember one thing, that all solutions are spiritual. And that this presence that we call God, the force, the universe, whatever we want to call it, we know we can call it forth and recognize it has the answer. And it doesn't just give us the answer, it is the answer. The consciousness gives us the answer. And although we may not be able to predict exactly what the answer will be, we affirm and know the answer is there. And so we simply raise ourselves to be one with this answer and then see how it reveals itself in a most magnificent way. As we do so, we know those prayers are sent over to Silent Unity for an additional 30 years of prayer consciousness, a consciousness that's been building up for over 100 years. We're grateful and thankful that we are part of that collective energy that says something within us is far more powerful than that circumstance that we face in the world. We remember that. We appreciate that. We say thank you, God. Amen. And with that, let us join together as we affirm our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, I am, and all is well. And let us deepen that awareness and that consciousness as we sing our peace song.